All right, welcome Facebook Live. Welcome to Come Out of Nowhere. I'm Sherman Hamilton, and we're in Toronto on behalf of Nike. Thank you for joining us. We're celebrating the kickoff to the 2016-2017 Toronto basketball season. We've got 6 of the best high school teams in the house, and everyone's favorite Raptor, DeMar DeRozan, who's come out of nowhere. Let's hear it. All right, all day these 6 teams have been learning the foundations of basketball through interactive workshops, all inspired by DeMar. It's about education and inspiration for players to change the game and come out of nowhere. Now it's time for our Q&A with DeMar. For those watching online, we'll be taking a few questions from Facebook, so comment below to get your voice heard. All right, let's get started here. All right, DeMar, there's a few things that were being taught throughout the course of the day to these young men. Number one, and I know it's a big thing on your list, is loyalty. And I go back to after your rookie contract, and you had the opportunity to look around and potentially go somewhere else. And you said something that I don't know if a lot of people really understood. You said, you know, I've been here for the losing. I wanted to be a part of the winning. Where does that loyalty come from for you?
Just me being a man, standing for something, having morals, growing up, fighting for something and, not running away from something when things get tough. Nothing's never been perfect for me. I never made that an excuse. I never shied away from it. I never ran away from it. I try to make the best of it, and it'll be more valuable, at the end of the day. And that's how I approach everything.
Now, obviously, this goes beyond basketball. It must go on in your life as well in terms of the people around you and how you choose to go about your life.
Yeah, most definitely. I got friends, no matter what. If they have a bad day, you cannot not pick up their phone call when they call. You got to be there for them just as well if they hit the lottery and you want $5 from them. You got to be there with that same mindset, the same approach, and it stuck with me through everything.
And then when you build that into the team concept, I mean, all these guys are playing on a team. You're playing on a team as well. When you talk about being loyal to a teammate and to your team, coaching staff, whatever it is, how does that kind of set up for you? What does that look like for you?
For me, think about it. I know you guys experience it. When you have a teammate, you kind of do everything with your teammate. Being in the league, you with your teammates, you with everybody. You're doing everything more with your teammates than you do with your own family. From the morning to games to practices to the ups and downs to fighting to fussing to competing with the opponents. And with that you gain a bond that never could be separated no matter what. And I think that helped mold you and build you once you go through that.
The team aspect obviously involves a lot of emotion, a lot of ups and downs. How much is the whole idea of conflict leading to better team building and better loyalty?
It helps. I think it helps mature you. Once you understand, you're going to have arguments. Sometimes arguing with a teammate is not the worst thing in the world. You understand what you may did wrong or what they did wrong, and you're trying to learn from it and be better in that situation or for another situation. And it brings you closer and it makes you smarter. It helps you mature faster.
Now, for you personally, and I've had the opportunity to watch DeMar over his whole career in the Raptor uniform, and I've personally seen some of the things that he's done, but from you, in your perspective, when it comes to, and we've talked about this before, when you're putting your game together from the physical aspect, how much do you focus on, getting right every time you step on the floor? Because the overall thing won't work if physically you're not together.
Yeah, the whole approach to it is sickening. You got to have a sickening approach to it if you want to be any type of successful, when it comes to the game. You just can't be happy with one game. It's a process every single day of continue to get better, to be better, to make sure your body is up to par every single day of, taking that contact, taking that physical abuse that you go through every time you step out there on the court. And it starts with all the things you do off the court before you step on there. And, that's been my approach.
You walked into the league at one of the toughest positions on the perimeter. And watching you in your rookie season, your second year, third year, there was a bit of a physical pounding that you took. And at some point, you decided that was enough. And now you're at a point where physically, you're one of the more dominant players in this league. Just talk about the process of going from, okay, I'm taking hits, to now I'm giving hits to get it done.
It's tough when you come in. I was 19. You look up, you're playing against guys 10 years older than you. They have that full, developed, grown man strength. So no matter how many weights you lift your first couple of years, it's not going to add up to them veteran guys and that pounding that you got to take. So it comes with time, and understanding what you can do to make sure you're on top of that, and hopefully you come into yourself faster than others. And, that was one thing I was conscious of, and trying to be stronger, be more physical, and with that, as I got older, be more dominant with my strength as well.
Now, a lot of this game, as you're all going to find out, is from the neck up. There's that psychological approach, that ability to process, and also the ability to mentally overcome the hurdles. When you look at it from that perspective, what has helped you the most from a psychological standpoint in being able to constantly overcome the obstacles, whether it be on the court or off the court?
For me, I use the environment that I grew up in. I grew up in Compton. The things I went through outside of basketball, I try to apply that to basketball and understand, it's a game that I love to do. It could be anything, and I try to use all the hardships that I went through mentally, push me through things on a basketball court, and that's one thing that definitely helped me. Whenever things get tough, it's easy for me to fight through it because I knew what it was like, not to have a refrigerator when I was growing up. Little things like that helps push me over whatever hump that I face in basketball.
We play the game to win. Winning is the ultimate goal, and you endured a lot of losing early in your career. That can destroy people. That can kind of send people on the wrong path in terms of being an individual, trying to just get their numbers, making sure that they're financially okay. You were able to mentally not go down that route and be able to say it's still going to be a team thing, it's still about winning, and it's still about being the best leader I can be. That's not something that everybody has. And when you talk about trying to figure out how to be a leader, where does that come from, and how do you view leadership?
Tough times. I always revert back to tough times and, how I could get out of a situation or how it could help me. And I try to apply that to basketball in every shape or form. I remember times when people told me, you can't do something, and you proved them wrong. You keep that same strategic mindset going. And, I think that helped build character, your mindset, the toughness, and just show you how to be a leader.
Doubters are a necessary part of successful people. So anybody that tells you you can't, you can prove it to you that you can. All right, we talk about the physical, the psychological aspects of being the player you are. But there's the nutrition side of it. And that's, something that as young people, sometimes we don't pay as much, well, they don't pay as much attention. I'm not young, so I don't know why I said we, but they don't pay as much attention to it. At what point in your career did you realize that nutrition was a significant part of you having success on the floor?
Going into about my end of my third, fourth year, I really started taking it serious and really wanted to change how I ate, and it showed on the basketball court. I had a lot more energy. I felt better. I felt lighter. When you're young, you can get away with eating all the junk food, snacks, eating all night. I just wanted to change that. I seen older guys always taking care of themselves, drinking the right fluids, eating the right food, staying away from this, and, it gave them longevity. That was one thing that stuck in my mind early on, that I want to have longevity and feel good.
What's a typical DeMar DeRozan food day?
Food day? What'd you say?
She says tell the truth.
I'm going to tell the truth. Today I kind of cheated. I ain't going to lie.
Well, hold up. It was U.S. Thanksgiving. We were in Milwaukee, and it was U.S. Thanksgiving, so you're allowed to kind of spill over a few days after Thanksgiving.
The last few days been a little rough. I'm glad we don't play till Monday, get it out. But, love my breakfast. You know, one thing I don't eat no pork. I don't eat fried food. Try to stay away from all the greasy food. And you know, other than that, I just try to indulge in what I like eating. You know, and have my cheat days here and there. So, yeah.
You know, we've talked about it personally in terms of the idea of building your game with all these elements. You know, the on-court development, off-season work, the body that you put together, and then also the nutrition. When you see that thing come together and you see the process come together like it has for the way that you've started this year, what does that make you think about everything that you've gone through?
It's worth it. You know, it's worth it. You know, it'd be times where it get real rough where, you know, you question, like, I'm not going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, or I'm going to just eat this today, or I'm going to do that. And you realize when you stuck to what you was doing and you finally see it pay off, it was all worth it. You know, sometimes not hanging out doing the cool things you may want to do sometimes, you know, being out all night or being on, you know, social networks, doing all this, and instead of just working on you, your game, and trying to be better, it'll let you know it's all worth it.
Now, as I introed DeMar, I spoke to the fact that he started the season first 8 out of 9 games scoring over 30 points per game, and he was in a class with Michael Jordan, you know, Nate Archibald, Wilt Chamberlain, some of the greatest players, World Be Free. Go Google him, great basketball player back in the day. But when you think about stuff like that and being mentioned with, you know, somebody who's considered to be arguably the greatest player ever in Michael Jordan, what does that mean to you? And I know that the standard answer is I'm not looking at it now, but you've got to understand what the gravity of that is.
When I do see it, it's really hard to believe, man. Like, it's really hard to believe just to, you know, do something, to be in a class of those guys and something that's so incredible. And you look at all the great players that's played in this league that haven't did something like that. You know, it's amazing. You know, it lets you know that it's not a cliche when you put in the work and when you strive to want to be something other than just a regular basketball player, you could do it.
And that's our Facebook Live question. And DeMar, you know, when I look back at where you started from and where you are now, what were some of the things that you kind of had in your routine? People like to call them rituals. Some people like to call them superstitions. But if you have a consistent routine, some of the greatest players have been consistent with their approach to the game. What are some of the things that you kept consistent in your development and growth?
Summertime, just every time summertime come around, I usually take a week or two off right after season, and I just literally have a sickening work ethic of wanting to be better, you know, of wanting to be better every single morning, you know, every single night, all day. And it's just not me saying it, you know, it's me just actually doing it every single day. And I'd be lying to you, telling you it was fun wanting to do it every day, you know. But just sticking to it and just always having that faith. And, you know, I want to separate myself from the next guy. You know, I don't want to just be an okay player or ordinary player. You know, I want to really separate myself and show that my work is that I put in when nobody's watching will show when everybody's watching.
Right. Pre-game stuff. I watch you warm up. Is there anything about your pre-game that has to be there every time you step before you step onto the floor?
Yeah, everything I do before pre-game is what I do. I have to, you know, it's a repetition. I stick to it. So once I do whatever I'm doing pre-game, once I do it in the game, it's you know, it's like I'm doing it with nobody on me, with nobody in the gym. And, you know, that's the same thing I do at night when I go back. And, you know, just stick to it because, you know, I know what it feels like once I do it in the game, whether it's one person guarding me or two people guarding me. So,
all right, let's have another question from Facebook Live. And DeMar, in the preseason, a lot was made about where you were ranked in terms of top players in this league. And from my perspective, it was disrespectful. I won't allow you to say it. I'll say it for you. But when you look at things like that and you think about all the work you've put in and the fact that at some level you're still not getting the credit that you deserve, does it bother you that you're considered in some ways an underrated player by people that just don't see you enough or maybe don't get it?
they just making it harder on the people whoever you put in front of me. Honestly, you know, whoever they put in front of me should be mad at them for doing that. You know, and that's the mindset I take when I go out there and play. You know, and I laugh at it at times, but you know, it's motivation at the same time. It's always something I'm going to find that'll motivate me, and you know, something like that. It just, you know, we'll see what they do next year. So. Hey.
Now, DeMar, obviously, when you are looking at this team and this leadership role that you have, success is something that's difficult to deal with sometimes. But for you personally, this is what you've been striving for. When you look at your leadership role and how you're trying to project this team to the next level, what does it take from DeMar DeRozan in order to get them there?
I got to be great every single night, vocally, on the court. If I'm on the bench cheering on my teammates, from all angles, I have to be great to make sure, you know, we get the best out of every single guy that step out there on that court. You know, whether it's a practice day, film day, you know, just be socially inclined, mentally, physically, to push them guys, because they're going to go as far as, you know, me and my backcourt teammate pushing.
Thank you so much, DeMar. Thank you, Facebook Live. That's going to end our Facebook Live session. Let's give it a hand for DeMar DeRozan. And on behalf of Nike, welcome to the 2006